My talk is about my journey to Abhati. I had a lot of pressure. As you can see, be the change you want to see in the world is what my father would always say to me when he told us a story about why he left India with my mother to start a new life in England. I'm a British-born Indian who's lived most of her adult life now in Switzerland. I grew up in a culture where women had no value. We weren't celebrated. I would go back to India and see how girls just weren't even sent to school. I was lucky. My parents let me assimilate in a country which they had chosen for their new life. I studied gender inequalities, and I wanted to understand not why women had no right. I wanted to understand how I could be an agent of change and help towards women stepping out of poverty and abuse. I became a social worker. I ended up working in the north of England and later in Switzerland in different refugees. Switzerland also has domestic violence. I worked with women and their children who came and sought refuge by us. I later became a mother to 2 daughters on my own. I actually have one of my daughters manning the stand in the marketplace, so please do go over and say hi to her. She'll be chuffed. But my thing was, I realized, having daughters myself, I needed to do something. I wanted to be a leader in an environment, but I had to determine my own working hours. So I became an entrepreneur by default. I bullied an entrepreneur, a seasoned entrepreneur in Switzerland, to let me shadow him. And I learned how to accumulate different business acumens, and I made huge amounts of mistakes on his money. And there's a nugget of wisdom here for you budding entrepreneurs. Go and join us at B Corp and just learn through us. And it's very less painful in that process. It was for me a journey of a free MBA. I later ended up launching Swiss Medikids, the first privatized walk-in clinic in Zurich. We raised quite a bit of capital for that. I launched it with 2 pediatricians, 2 doctors, and everyone thought we were crazy. They thought this would never work. We ended up we now have 2 different sites in Zurich and one just opposite the main train station. I served on the board of WeForest. WeForest is a movement to cool our climate and restore our ecosystem and soil simply by planting trees. And what I see now, looking back, is my journey to a natural path to Abhati. What I did was, I knew that NGOs struggled due to lack of funds. And I knew that educating girls was the only means of a sustainable way for them to step out of poverty and sometimes out of abuse. And I personally wanted to address a taboo, open defecation. Open defecation is one of the largest problems in developing countries where there's no privacy, no toilet, nothing, and they have to go outdoors. And I realized later on that girls were actually stepping and leaving school during puberty because they just couldn't take it anymore. And we've heard a lot of conversations about mobile phones in developing countries. These mobile phones are actually being used to take pictures of girls and women in positions which they have no choice, and they're being abused afterwards with that. So with my little business acumen, I sought friends from the beauty industry. I wanted to step into a very fickle industry and wanted to use the power of the dollars that come through this industry, and I managed to, through various leadership skills, get some of the most renowned cosmetic formulators on board for Abhati. Geza Schön, one of the most renowned perfume guys, the nose, has developed the whole fragrances for us, and they've all done this free of charge. So what we've actually achieved with Abhati is like the sharing economy. We're sharing our skill sets to give back, and then with the profit, make an impact around educating girls. So we partnered with the NGO Educate Girls to make sure that girls stay in education, and we bring the toilets needed for that. I do believe doing good is good for us. Without sounding woohoo, just look at the B Corps around here. There's this happy chemistry. It just makes you feel good. And it's without having to go to Amsterdam into one of your coffee shops and smoking those joints you have. It's just genuinely there. That's why I wanted to be a part of the B Corp Corporation. And this genuine, authentic love for everything and everyone around us was something that I had lacked in my previous businesses. I've personally never been so happy doing what I do right now. Abhati speaks my DNA, what I believe in, being able to be also in an industry that just generates cash through lies, us being able to make the most beautiful products with the most amazing team, and all being natural and biodegradable. I'm finally doing business as a means of ensuring our collective well-being, and I personally believe that the ethical consumption is only buy from those that care about what they make and do, as opposed to over what they can make from you. And that's what B Corp is for me. I am an entrepreneur. I want to do cool stuff, and I want to make a difference. Having worked long in the social sector, I know the importance of a governance board, and that's why I joined B Corp. I want to be able to walk our talk, and I need a governance board that just taps us on the shoulder and says, hey, look, this is what you have to really make sure you do. And that, for me, is being a part of the B Corp. But there's also another side to this. We can't do what we achieved to do without your help, and we really need you to share our story and just be ambassadors about our work. I'd like to finish with a quote that sums up for me the work that we do. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. Namaste.